Hello, it's Deborah from the attic, and today I want to show you a different way that you can use Nuvo drops. I've got 4 drops here. 2 are from previous kits. This one is Liquid Mercury and this one is Dazzling Blue. This is a glitter one and this is a metallic-y pearlized one. Then I have Caribbean Ocean. These are crystal drops, and I have glitter drops, and this one is called Holiday Cheer. Now, whenever I get things like this, I like to get the maximum use out of items as much as I can. I don't want my crafting goodies just to be for one sole use. So I was having a little play with these drops, and I've come up with a way to make a really nice spotty background. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, make sure that your drops are ready to squirt, because sometimes they can get a little bit blocked. So just make sure they're ready to go before you begin. And then once you have begun, work fairly quickly. Put a random scatter of dots of one colour, and then introduce another colour. I'm going to add the first 2 colours, and then I'm going to take it to the next stage before I finish all of the colours. Before I add the last 2, I'm going to take another piece of card which is the same size, and I'm going to place it directly on top. Try and line it up as closely as you can. Don't press it down too hard, just make sure there's contact there, and then pull one away from the other. And you've got a mirror image of whatever dots you did, and they're nice little spots, so they're not raised up. I'm going to now go to my Holiday Cheer. These little glitter drops are really nice because they adopt the colour of whatever ink you put with them, and that's something that I've noticed. So if I was to put a purple ink with these, that would really bring out, there must be some purple in these drops, that would really bring out that colour. And if I went with red, that would again really bring out that colour in the drops. And finally I'm going to use my Liquid Mercury. And the next time we put our card on top, you'll see why it's so important to make sure that they're lined up, because otherwise you risk blurring your dots. Nobody likes blurred dots. Fill in the gaps, oops, until you're happy with it. We can get rid of that one. So when that happens, I get a pokey tool and just pull it back. I'm not too worried about that because we'll cover that up in one of the future stages. So now I have to make sure that I line this up absolutely perfectly. Let's see if that's worked. Ta-da! That's worked. That's really good. Like that. If you find that you've got a couple of gaps, so I have a couple of gaps here that I'd like some more of the mercury in, add in a little dot. You don't have to do it on both, see what you think. And then take a scrap of paper and very gently just squash it down like that. Then you'll have 2 that are ever so slightly different. I think that colour combination works really nicely. This is a card that I made and dried out earlier, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can use that. This is white top folding card, and I've die cut a frame, and I'm keeping the piece from the middle because I'm going to use that as a background for a sentiment. The sentiment I'm using, I've taken from Cardio Cards This is a stamp set called Winter Wishes 4, and there are lots of these winter and Christmas sentiments which are absolutely perfect for what I want to do. So let me show you one way to do this, where you just use your background spotty card as a background. So line everything up. Obviously you would glue this into position. I'm not going to glue this down because I want to show you a different way that you can use it as well. And there's my gold background on the card and my sentiment, and that's it. That's one way that you can do it, and I think that's quite jolly with the little spotty dots behind it. Or I'm going to put these things to one side and show you the other way to use this by colouring the lower half of the card. So cut it in half, just roughly in half will do. It doesn't need to be totally exact. I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. So I think I'll colour up this half. I'm using Shabby Shutters. This is one of the new Distress Oxides, and I haven't bought all of the set. I've just bought a few that are lovely pale colours that I like, because I've got so many inks I don't really want to keep adding to my storage. And drag the ink over your background, your spotty background. This will make the red dots pop, and where I've used gold, it creates this nice little shimmery spotty dot, which I quite like. And then I've used some green, a darker green, and that hasn't been covered up, as you can see. And the colours that I used for this were Red Berry. This is one from one of the kits. This is called Olive Branch, and I put in another one from one of the kits called Auburn Pearl, but you could use gold on this. That would look, that would be fine. Once you've coloured it, bring the other piece back in like that, and then we'll get our card and I'll layer it up. It is a good idea to cut your spotty card, your background card, to size so you know it will fit within your frame before you cut it in half, because once it's cut in half it's a bit of a nuisance to then try and make sure that it's the right shape all the way around. So you can either cut it down yourself by hand, then cut it in half, or you can use a die cut and then cut it in half. And that's my background, and that's my sentiment. These two cards were made using a red, a copper and a dark green for the dots, and then the lower half was covered with Shabby Shutters Distress Oxide ink. This one has a gold shiny mirror card backing, and this one has a dull gold for the backing. So these two cards were made using exactly the same colours of drops. Festive Berries, a light blue, a blue glittery one, and Liquid Mercury. But because of the different backing on each of these, it picks out different elements in the colours. So by using a red mirror card, it picks out the red of the Festive Berries quite nicely. By contrast, by using a backing of silver card and then colouring the lower half with weathered wood, I get quite a different effect. It's a colder looking card. This is a warmer card. So that's those two. So can you use other things that you have in your stash, such as liquid pearls? This is Flamingo and this is Ruby Red, or stickles. These are all from Rangers. The stickles is copper. So let's try. if you didn't have any Nuvo drops, you certainly could use the other types of things. The Stickles glitter I thought spread a little bit more than the little blue glitter, but if you know about that, then maybe you can just make the dot a little bit more concentrated, and so it doesn't you don't make it spread out too far, or just press very gently on the card. I thought the other drops actually performed in a very similar way to the Nuvo. I'm going to leave you with some close-ups of all the cards that we made today, along with a little bit of music. And as always, thank you very much for your time, thank you for watching, and until we meet again, take care.